this is Mohan. I will be the host today, and seems like everybody's already here. And yeah. Just make sure that my Mac actually is working.
Hi, Mohan.
Hello.
I still can't start the video. I can
seems to be disabled.
Open the video.
Yeah, I think it's disabled a little bit.
软件没有。
那我们去玩吧，好不好？那我们去那个研讨室公园吧。
可以去，你话球在那里搞哪里？你搞哪里？这跟挂这个有这个区别了？那也过来啥叫就叫没好吧？也过来，把被子换了。
是 host 要把视频打开吗？我们现在视频还是看不到。
我也开不了视频现在。
行。一玉是 host 的，可以由一玉来试一下。
我这边试了一下，我这边是可以开视频的。然后我不知道其他人为什么开不了。
有权限的，别人都开不了的。
对，
我来开，现在应该都可以了。Right now, everybody can start video.
Okay, yeah, it works. Should work. Should work.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's working. Okay. Okay, Mohan, we can start now, I think.
Cool.
Okay,
I welcome everyone. Yeah, welcome everyone. This is Mohan. Let me open my my video. I'm currently in the car, so it's easier here. And thanks for coming here today and for joining this AMA session. We're so honored to bring Gene and Bram to join us. and the big community from China. I think we probably covered most of the Chia community in China right now. Today's plan is just to go over like some of the key questions we want to ask as the MaxiDAO community, and there's other communities, Nchain community, and different community here as well. So I'll just brief introduction. So Leo here is the CEO and founder of MaxiDAO community, and we have JK here as well, and I'm also part of the MaxiDAO, yeah, and thanks for joining here, and 十万哥的那个发言人和 Nchain 的发言人也在我们这儿yeah, so we have like 3 community here. Cool. Hi, Brian and Ginny, can you guys hear us? Okay, haven't really heard anything from you guys.
I can hear just fine.
Yeah. Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, so thanks for coming here. Very honored to have you here, and I just want to let you know that Chia has been a huge topic in China since launch last year, and we personally been involved in the mining at the beginning, and many of our, especially part of the founder in our MaxiDAO community, actually has been a very big sponsor, not sponsor, but a miner and a big believer in Chia community. So I was thinking about like the very first question we have is has Chia done any sort of a marketing planning or growth planning in China particularly? You know, like because I understand that enterprise use cases is the key, and wondering like, have you guys started some conversation or partnership with some Chinese enterprise or even government for the sake?
So I'll go ahead and take that. We have actually had some interactions with various folks in China, both at the government level and at some of the business levels. Nothing's come to fruition of that just yet, but we certainly remain very open to it and would support any sort of project that any enterprise or the government there would be interested in going forward on.
I see. Sounds good. So I'm wondering, like, is that possible for you guys to give a brief introduction? Let's start with Bram. Like just for the general community, like let them know. Not that they don't know, but they already know. But we'd love to hear from you guys.
Yep, there he is. He's been having a hard time connecting. So Bram just connected.
Beautiful.
So Bram, introduce yourself.
I'm Bram. I'm the founder of Chia. Came up with most of the basic tech in it. Previously created BitTorrent. So that's who I am.
Yep. And I'm Gene. I'm CEO and president of Chia. I run the company for Bram and work for Bram. Multiple serial entrepreneur and have been doing cryptocurrency things for 20 plus years.
Awesome.
And I'm Jay. I help Gene with all of our ecosystem community facing stuff. Everyone, I think, in the Chinese community is familiar with Justin. He works for me on my team. And I just kind of help make sure we do all this communication stuff, like these AMAs and stuff actually happens.
Nice. So yeah, thanks for the introduction. And from our side, so Leo, do you want to introduce you as well?
Sure. I'm Leo. I think I met Ginny and Brian in the San Francisco Chia meetup. So I'm the co-founder of the MaxiDAO. So currently I'm also working on another crypto project. So we are a big fan of the technology of Chia. So that's why we organize the MaxiDAO and focus on the mining, bridge, and pooling. So we have assembled this big community from China, and we have many community member and a DAO member from China as well.
Awesome. And Yeah, from Nchain side, Nchain 你们的可以上来介绍一下吗
？Hello.
Hi.
Hi. We are Nchain Society, and we used to be a Chia society in China, and about 5,000 guys working on Chia, and now we have created a fork of Chia from testnet line, and we are preparing NFT and games, and we want to build a game platform on Chia. So we want to know many things about Chia project.
Cool. Cool. 十万哥，你们要起来介绍一下吗
Hello everyone. Sorry. Brother Xuan, hello. We are Brother Xuan community, and Brother Xuan is a Chia main coin issued to commemorate a legendary figure named Xuan Ge. In English called Brother Xuan, in Chinese Chia community. Xuan means 100. 1 million in Chinese. Brother Xuan persistently believes that Chia will one day to be $1 million. He posts his views on various social platforms in China and never changed his mind even he was ridiculed by others. One day he suddenly disappeared without leaving a trace. Since then, people talk about Brother Xuan and miss him. In order to commemorate Brother Xuan, Chia farmers in community spontaneously begin to collect the speeches and deeds of Brother Xuan. Finally, Brother Xuan becomes the symbol of the firm faith of Chia. Okay. Yeah, that's our introduction.
Awesome. I think that's most of the key person. I would just give a brief introduction as well. I part of the MaxiDAO community, as I said before, and we're really fascinated by the technology. I keep saying this is one of the very inspiring innovation from blockchain for recent years, and I believe this has a huge potential to grow. So we actually gathered some of the questions starting. I was just starting asking them right now. So we actually did our first cross-chain bridge as a Rapid Chia because we identified the need of unleash the power of the Chia people minds out. So we actually developed the WChia ourselves, trying to become the bridge between the Ethereum world and Chia world. And we're thinking about at the beginning, so that will start to open up a DeFi for a Chia community. We're wondering, like, do you guys, like, from Chia official side, do you have any plan to do cross-chain bridges? Sort of how Avalanche that they have their own official quote unquote bridge.
Yes. There's a few different types of bridges you can have. We're particularly interested in bridges where there's wrapped Bitcoin and Ethereum on Chia. That can take the form of either someone who's trusted just has a certain amount of that, and they issue something on Chia that they will redeem for the other token. In a more sophisticated manner that's going to take us a longer time is having something where there's just a thing in Ethereum which people can send their ETH to, which will cause them to get Chia or a wrapped ETH given to them on the Chia side, and then they can retire the Chia or the wrapped ETH on the Chia side, which will cause them to automatically get back the stuff on the Ethereum side, but there's no one entity who ponied up all the ETH. It's anyone can pony up ETH if they want to. That requires some more work and will take some more time. But we're planning on making these things happen.
Though we are very appreciative of the efforts you guys have already made in that direction.
Yeah, there's no one. We don't want there to be any one monopoly on these things. Having multiple ones is just fine.
And we also have been doing submarine swaps with Bitcoin using Lightning. So that's another little interesting thing that's working today, but could use someone to really own.
I see. Wow, that's actually really fascinating news. So Liu will try to do a translation.
对，我就大概讲一下，就是刚才那个 Brian 和 Gene 已经讲过，就是做这个桥呢，可以是官方的，也可以是非官方的。现在官方也在准备这个事情，就是以太坊和那个 BTC 的 bridge， 现在官方也在 work on 这个事情，大概就是这样的啊。但这也要花一定的时间，还要花一定的时间。
Cool. Some follow-up question on that. So, is there plan to sort of map ETH and Bitcoin, like when you mentioned about the swap between the Lightning Network? So are you gonna do wrap it into a CAT token, or CAT itself is token, or it's gonna be more of like a decentralized exchange swap sort of thing?
The main thing people want, it seems, is having CAT tokens, which are wrapped Bitcoin and Ethereum. There is this to Lightning atomic swap thing we're doing, but that's not how people usually do wrapped stuff and other things, or that's not how people usually do cross things and other things. So we're not anticipating that to get most of the interest.
But we do expect to have multiple wrapped Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah.
对，刚才问的问题是还是围绕着这个，就是 BTC 或者以太坊的这个，就是wrap token， 就是映射旗下上面映射。Gene 就是说可以，因为这可以非官方的和官方都可以做，就是可以以后可能会有更多的映射的。这个 BTC 或者是以太坊在那个企业链上面。
Sounds good. The next question we were trying to understand is like, so the current mining release schedule has in 3 years and stop happening in the 12 years. What's sort of the rationale behind that decision? We'd really love to understand how you guys thinking about in terms of the emission and the inflation model for Chia. Yeah, we'd love to hear more about that rationale behind that decision.
Yeah, so the reason for it is quite simply security in a system that doesn't have trailing emissions is terrifying. If you get down to a situation which, the only thing paying farmers is transaction fees, you can have massive incentives for people to reorg each other rather than moving the blockchain forward at times when transaction fees go down to nothing. This is less scary for proofs of space, but still very, very scary. So we set it so there's a few halvings, and then it just stops doing the halving. So it's not a percentage of inflation you get per year, it's a fixed amount per year. So percentage-wise, it's still going down over time. And I think after like 20, 30 years, it's only like 0.5% per year already at that point, and slowly going down after that. You have to figure there's some amount of just breakage that happens in the system over time as well. So it's not meaningfully causing inflation. There are a few crackpots who claim, oh no, Chia is not worth anything because it has unbounded inflation. It's like, well, over hundreds of years, yeah, sure. But we set it at what I believe is a sweet spot where the amount of inflation, going forward is not terribly material economically, but the incentive for security is still there.
I see. That makes sense. I think given the nature of blockchain, there's always some way of losing the coin, like lost, hacked, or lost the key, I think it makes sense to have a constant emission. Yeah, give some room for Leo to translate into Chinese for a broader community. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm anticipating that eventually there will have to be a soft fork that to account for the kind of scary instability of not knowing how much breakage there's been. Eventually, there will have to be some kind of a soft fork to make it so that coins haven't moved in 100 or 200 years, become permanently not movable. But that is not my problem.
I see, makes sense.
刚才问的问题主要是关于那个起亚挖矿减半的，这个背后的逻辑。Brian 主要给大家讲的就是说是，挖矿的奖励是必须的，这是为了网络安全性考虑。如果没有挖矿的奖励，只是靠交易费的话，那么就说矿工他可能会就是来竞争这个交易费，然后同时就是不能够让这个区块链进一步的发展，就进一步的出块。这就是我为什么要持续的有这个挖矿，但是他并没有对这个就是说减半的这个时间和逻辑，就是说讲更多的这个解释，就是这个后面的话还要看今后这个时间来决定。
Cool. Thank you. So there's one more thing we're thinking about given the current market condition. So because we all supporters and advocate for Chia, so we want to understand like from like the company perspective, like how do you what do you guys think about like to weather through the potential crypto winter? And how, like, given the current condition and the funding, how do you feel about the company basically in general? Sorry if it's too intimate questions, too private questions. Yeah.
So we're very careful. We always have been. This is a 6-year-old company. We have raised quite a bit of money, and we feel very confident that we have more than enough to weather any sort of storm at this point. We also feel pretty comfortable that we can raise more at higher valuations, and so that's also an option that we will be potentially looking at.
Sounds good.
刚才的问题就是说，围绕着西亚公司现在的这个资金问题，就说怎么样能够度过这个就是可能的熊市。经理给大家解释，就是说，西亚已经是非常小心对这个问题，就是说也做了很多准备，有充足的资金，因为公司已经都已经 run 了好，都已经运行了好些年了，就说而且也会有如果有需要的话，还可以进一步的那个就融资，所以这个问题没有什么担心。
Yep. It's really good to hear that, and I think the Chinese community learning that will be more confident in continuing their support and adventure with Chia. And we're thinking about the current strategy, I understand, is for enterprise use cases, trying to for internal and like 2B business, basically. Is there anything sort of plan or product plan for retail services? As we know, like crypto is actually very heavy towards like retail. Like a lot of retail has been participated in the market, and one of the ethos is to empower individual.
So I would actually turn that question around a little bit and say it this way. We have always been about both markets, but unlike most blockchains, we actually can approach the enterprise market too. Most everything we've shipped in this current calendar year, Chia asset tokens, soon NFTs, offer files, these are absolutely the building blocks of DeFi and the building blocks of consumer use of the blockchain. So almost nothing that we ship is only for one market or the other. Almost everything we build works for both consumer and enterprise.
Nice.
刚才的问题就是针对就是起亚现在针对企业用户，就是说问题是说有没有针对个人用户的这样的计划。Gene的回答就是其实这个问题应该反过来想，就是说现在多数的区块链都是针对个人用户，反而因为没有针对企业用户的这样的区块链，所以起亚正好是填补了这样的一个空白。
Yep, sounds good. I think you mentioned your new product NFT and stuff. Right now, I think that's probably one of the hottest topic in crypto, both crypto and general technology. So we're wondering, like, the using Chia Lisp, like, what kind of advantage does it give in that use cases? Given that now Solidity is the owner and we're having new challenger coming out. Personally, I was involved in the Libra project, so now known as DM. So I understand they're also building on top of, like, building a new virtual machine called MoveVM. It's a new programming model and new programming language. So we'd love to know, like, what's the competitive advantage of Chia Lisp in the new world?
Well, it starts with not being bug for bug compatible with Solidity.
There are very basic practical advantages to Chia Lisp in that very often with smart contracts, they don't trust each other and they want to defer to each other. And in the EVM, the only way to do this is to set up new contracts for every single thing, and that's a very expensive process to have all of those. In Chia Lisp, nothing has side effects except things that actually move coins. So everything is sandbox. So it's very, very safe for things to call each other. It's really normal in CLVM to be passed a chunk of code, validate that chunk of code, and then just call it and do stuff with it, which is an extremely dangerous thing to do in languages that aren't written and designed for that from the ground up. And that's important. Like in the case of colored coins, you want to be able to have inner puzzles. So cats support inner puzzles. Yeah, and just in terms of being able to enforce capabilities, which cats and singletons have, you want things to be able to reason about their ancestors in a way that everyone can audit that they're actually doing it. These are things where the comparable things there's really no practical way of doing comparable things in a C style language like Solidity is.
Also, it's really important that you can't separate consensus safety from your programming environment. If Ethereum actually moves to Ethereum 2, and notice I said if, then you're going to have a situation where the only blockchains that are safe from a 51% attack are Bitcoin and Chia, and none of the other ones are. And so for really serious projects that are dealing with governments or big businesses or banks, they need the security that proof of work or proof of space and time has as a foundation to be able to run programmable internet money on top of it.
I see. That makes total sense. Leo, you can go ahead with translation.
这个问题主要是围绕着就是当前比较火热的游戏或者是元宇宙这个板块，就是 Chia Lisp 在这上面的有没有什么优势？某行也讲了例子，就是说现在大家主要是用的是那个以太坊上面的 Solidity。就是说Chia 的优势就在于其实这个 Chia Lisp 它就是因为跟那个Solidity 并不是跟 EVM 并不是兼容的，这反而是 Chia Lisp 的优势。按照那个 Gene 和 Bram 的说法，就是Solidity 的里面的一个问题就是说，大家调用智能合约，你调用别的智能合约的话，你必须要去相信就是对方的智能合约它的那个功能，然后如果你不相信它的话，你就必须重新部署一套完整的就是智能合约，包括基本的一些功能，这样会对那个智能合约本身带来很大的开销。但是因为 Chia Lisp 它是运行，它可以支持一个沙盒的一个 sandbox 这样的一个环境，它就说是在智能合约之间的这个调用的时候，它并不会就是会对你的那个功能造成影响，它只会它的那个沙盒环境里面只会调用只会 move 这个 coin， 并不会对你的那个整个运行的环境造成影响。同时其中还有很重要的一点，就是说当以太坊迁移到以太坊 2.0 之后，那么能够抵抗51%攻击的，那么就只剩下比特币和Chia本身了。就说这个如果是 比较严肃的，就是要在那个区块链上面发行相当于代币或者是其他货币的话，就是说会认真的选择来这里面，就说是作为比特币和Chia才这样子的一个优势，就是说意思就是说是在就是Chia的这个它的这个智能合约的这个环境和它的那个共识层，它的分离是非常好的。就说如果是以太坊它move到以太坊2.0的时候，它的这个共识和它的这个运行环境如果是混合在一起，那么会对它本身的这个系统的这个安全性和稳定性造成比较大的危险。这就是Chia Lisp的在这中间的优势之一。好，差不多。
Yep, cool. Yeah, and then we mentioned about color coin from the previous question. We're thinking about like this way of like issuing new tokens is actually embedded with the UTXO model and the Chia Lisp. And I think you guys are all both real OG of crypto punks, and we're trying to think about like what kind of use cases have you guys thought about like, from the color coin as a that's so special that can only be done by color coin, or what's competitive advantage in a way like compared to the ERC20 kind of model?
Well, there are a lot of things you can do with coin issuances. I mean, there's obviously a lot of kind of silly meme coin things you can do, but on the more serious side, you can do things like have carbon credit issuances that if there's someone who has carbon credits, they can issue them, tokenize them on Chia, and automatically have a market for them due to decentralized offers without having to set up marketplaces themselves. That can simply happen. And that's a very serious and real thing that the world needs. And we're working on making that happen.
I'd also add that there's an important difference between, say, an ERC20 token and a Chia asset token. It is that in the Chia asset token example, you actually own the asset when you have it in your possession. In the ERC20 world, the centralized account model means that you're relying that that smart contract doesn't have an admin or a rug pull capability. Where here, when you have a Chia asset token, it is tied to your private key. And when you trade it, it's atomically traded directly peer-to-peer and only if the offer file rules are met. So it's much more secure in ownership of the underlying asset.
I see. So my understanding is almost as secure as a native token on the chain.
It is basically equivalently secure. So all of the additional wallet features and other things that we'll be adding, you can add to your asset token as well.
I see. Yep, that was a beautiful answer. So Liu, you can go ahead.
这个问题主要就是问关于这个Chia上面的这个彩色币，就是 CAT 这个Chia asset token 的问题，就是说它跟那个现在大家比较主流、比较清楚的这个就是以太坊上面 ERC20这个代币的一些区别，就是说在那个就是 Color Coin 它本身能够完成一些什么特别的功能。这里就是说有一个比较我觉得那个 Gene 讲了一个比较重要的一个区别，就是说除了就说是那个彩色币它本身是可以像ERC20这样的代币一样，就是可以trade可以发行以外，它本身的安全性实际上是超过了就是ERC20的这种类似的代币。它的安全性就说是跟Chia本身的安全是一个级别的安全性，就是说用那个ERC20的这种代币，在背后因为ERC20它是用的就是account 模式嘛，就说是它本身的代币是由这个中心化的这个就合约来控制，就是说谁拥有多少代币，但是这样的话就是会存在潜在的就是合约的作者他会来修改这个就是ERC20的这种合约，然后会造成别的安全性问题，比如说 rug pull 之类的。但是在Chia里面的这个彩色币的话，它就是你发行者它是拥有这个币，然后你如果进行交易之后的话，它是完全是点对点的这种交易，就是收到的系统收到的对方他就也用了这个币，就是不是由一个中心化的智能合约来控制。这一点就是刚才那个魔汉也劝的，就确实是一个比较独特的一个点的，这也是这个安全性上面来说啊，我认为是一个非常好的一个卖点。
Cool. Thanks. And from this, we're thinking about like, given that right now, like as you can see, like in the current crypto world, like any sort of a layer 2 or any new chain, they just issue a EVM compatible chain and start making tons of money. And so we know it's very important. I think they leverage on the fact that the developer community actually are the same. So like we understand that the adoption, one very important, who get the developer get the world, right? So we're wondering, like, as a totally different ecosystem, totally different even way of playing, and what's the plan or the top 3 areas, or like this in terms of strategy that Chia plan to like take a huge take of the cake of the market share? How do they plan to start, taking a leadership role and set the new standard, like to really give the benefit of the security you guys just mentioned to the general crypto developer community?
Yes, so the beachhead one is having highly liquid markets, having tokenization be done on Chia and have very efficient liquid trading be done on Chia, and it be done in a way where it's not on like a few big, just completely trusted exchanges where which are just saying we pinky swear we have the money, really, but ones where you have truly either completely decentralized exchange, or you're using AMMs, or you're using a non-custodial exchange, are all just much better ways of doing things where you are not subject to the potential of a rug pull going on there. That's our like big beachhead thing. On top of that, we're working towards having good custodial arrangements so people can self-custody in a completely reasonable way. That's not something the world is asking for, but the world really needs it badly. Also working on some slightly sillier but fun things, having support for NFTs and on-chain gaming, and yeah, and a bunch of other stuff I'm not remembering off the top of my head.
Yeah, and I'd like to add that, not all developers are created the same. A whole lot of projects spend a lot of time trying to pump their developer numbers, and it's much easier to do that in the languages JavaScript. JavaScript and secure $1 billion between 2 banks are not necessarily a sentence you're going to hear anywhere. And so from that perspective, our biggest strategy is that we think the developers at the Foreign Ministry of Japan and inside Costa Rica and at Switzerland and Singapore governments are the more interesting developers that prove that blockchains can be relied upon to do billion-dollar transactions that governments can rely on, that will then make it much easier for other developers to find that environment to be more trustworthy and more capable of not losing $300 million 2 weeks ago.
I see. That makes sense. Just one more follow-up question on that. So that's the development from you guys, and internal goal. Do you plan to make some sort of a development fund to support new developers, or ecosystem fund as a, providing grants and those kind of plan? And if you do, like, what would be the direction and area you guys really want to support, like for the third party community, third party developers?
So we actually already have that. It's called the Chia Cultivation Grant. Basically, we have a process. There's actually a page on dedicated to it on our website where you can basically submit to us a proposal for a project that you want to build or create, and we will give you money towards helping make that possible. The details vary from product to product. Some people want to do very simple, very basic things. They don't even want more than a few $1,000s because they want like some basic operating costs, all the way up to things like the Knuckle wallet, where they asked for a very significant amount of money that we paid them to help get them off the ground. It all comes down to the quality of the presentation, the proposal you're making, the background of the team involved, what the actual product concept looks like. Does it seem like it's something you can actually deliver on? All those factors into like basically how much we'll contribute to help you. But yeah, we do that now. We actually have 3 or 4 public people that have been announced, and we have a batch right now of about 6 or 7 more that we're about to announce that have received grants as well. We've actually given out a non-trivial amount of money to about, I think, total combined a little over 12 different people now.
Also, you saw us do a 24-hour hackathon, or not, don't call it a hackathon, pardon me. We will actually be starting to roll those out much more continuously and on larger scale. We are just staffing up to have the staff to support them correctly.
Yeah, we do have plans to build a bigger developer relations team to do a lot more like community developer work. So not just companies and projects, but small developers who want to make small things. We're building up a whole team to kind of help support that too.
Good to hear.
这个问题有点长啊，就是说主要是关于这个，分成两部分。第一部分就是说是Chia在支持这个开发者社区方面的一些重点。第二部分就是现在有没有这种官方的这种支持的这种基金的这样活动。这回答就是说是那个 Brian 之前回答就说是对于开发者社区或者开发者的社区支持的重点，是大家比较关心的。包括就是常见的这个就是交易市场，就是怎么讲啊？想不起来，就说是那个
我可以补充一下，就是他讲的是第一个方向，就是说想办法把这个 liquidity 提起来，做这种交易啊，然后想办法，比如说做一个Chia 版的 Uniswap， 就是尽量让把它的 liquidity 提起来。对，这是第一个方向。对，
第二个方向就是说是托管，就是那个 custodian 的方向。custodian 就是说是相当于就是说是把你的可以像银行一样的一个托管的机构，然后用户可以把你们的那个资金存到这个托管商这里。因为这个我相信主要的原因是因为能够和更多的官方的这样子或者企业用户的这样合作，这是然后当然其他的也提到了，就是说是 NFT 也是另外一个开发的方向。讲到就是对在开发者社区的话，就Gene也讲了一个点，就是说是我们理解的这个开发者社区其实并不一定是完全的有真正有怎么说，就是说不是他说的是开发者社区就是一定是这样的开发社区，因为还是有很多不同的开发者的存在，然后包括各国政府啊或者一些别的这种开发者，他们也是属于开发者社区的一部分，就是说对他们的一些支持也是Chia的一个方向。讲到这个就是生态的基金方面，就说是其实现在已经有这样的生态基金，然后呢在官方的网站上面就可以看得到这样的信息，已经有大概宣布了3到4个，然后还有6到7个的这样子的那个生态基金的这个合作的项目要宣布。目前来说的话，就说是这个基金的大小大概从比如说几千块钱，甚至到更多啊，这具体多少并没有具体讲啊，但我相信比如说几万甚至几十万这样子的，这是有可能的。就这都是主要是看那个产品的这个类型以及它对这个生态的这个影响是什么样子来决定，就是这个生态发展基金的这个发放的数量。同时还提到了有比较短时间的24小时的这种黑客松的项目也会不断的在举行，就是希望开发者社区的参与。那么你看还有什么要补充的？
就基本全了。然后对，基本上就是说他们这就是他投资的重点方向。这个问题主要是在投资和内部的投资方向跟外部的投资方向，只要申请就可以拿到。Cool. Let's go to the next question. So it's just some follow-up from the last one. So you mentioned if I want to, as a developer, if I want to develop something, I just go to the website and there should be a very clear documentation about how to apply and all the process, right? So that would be communication will start from there. Am I still?
Yeah, you're there.
Okay,
yes,
cool.
There's where is the grant? I think it's on the developer page. Technology page.
Sorry, I'm really bad at unmuting my mic. It is /grant. It's /grants. So chia.net/grants is the grant page. Is that what you're looking for, Gene?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Also at the bottom of all pages.
Yeah, the footer of our website, at the very footer down there, there's a cultivation grant link on all the footers everywhere that leads there.
Nice. So from there, we're gonna. So basically, the communication will start after we apply and through email.
Yes.
Yeah, so you send an email. What that email actually does, it goes into a system, and then the system itself surfaces the emails, almost like a support ticket kind of system. And some of us process those and go through the grants. And if we find a grant that's really promising or is almost there, we just need a little more information, then we'll respond back and ask for that. And then it goes in front of a committee, and then we have a committee of people that review the grants and kind of talk them over, and then decides every couple of months or so which ones we're going to give a grant to.
I see. That makes sense. There's a next question. It's about like we mentioned about the new NFT metaverse.
再讲一下刚才那个。
OK。
就是大家的问题还是说就是那 grant 申请的流程的问题，就是刚才我看到有朋友在群里面发了这个网页，就是到网页上面去申请发邮件，发了邮件之后，他们内部会有一个委员会来定期的这个就是来检查这个就申请这个 grant 的这个邮件，然后如果觉得比较有意思的就会再答复，就在这样的一个流程，就是还是通过邮件的方式。
Cool. Thanks. Thanks, Leo, for translating. And so next question I mentioned is regarding like, do you guys have any plan for NFTs, not from the the
specification that will be an extension to CATs? So a DAO is basically a series of CATs where you can redeem, which are just have numbers on them, and you can redeem one for something of a higher number and get an announcement out of that when you do it, so that whenever the DAO pays out funds or has a vote, everyone who has the DAO CAT token is able to participate in that, prove that they're voting or collecting the amount that they're saying, and then that token that they have gets redeemed for the corresponding amount of the same DAO CAT with a higher sequence number, because it can no longer participate in the previous thing that it already did. This is our general plan for how to do this. A specification is coming out soon. We say soon a lot.
Yeah, it's like a name in the crypto world.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of things that we're doing, but when we say soon, it does tend to mean not really in all that long. Like, it's been less than a year since we launched Chia to begin with, and we've really gotten a lot accomplished in the meantime. So when we say soon, it might not seem that soon if you're thinking like weeks. Like we got a lot of grief when we first launched Chia, and token price, or Chia, not just token price, but the actual price of Chia itself kind of stabilized, and it became, and then the net space took off. And I was a little overly optimistic about how long it would take us to get a pooling protocol out. And it took a huge amount of grief from that. But in the end, it only took us like 9 weeks to actually get a pooling protocol out. And people acted like it was the end of the world that we took that long. So when we say soon, well, that was a very high priority thing. But when we say soon, if you think soon means like 3 weeks, you'll probably just be disappointed. If you think soon means a lot less than a year, you're pretty likely to have us hit that.
And on the other question, would we use a DAO to drive decisions about how to design the protocol? The answer is that that's unlikely. The governance model we're looking for is some mix of what Bitcoin does and what Linux does. Ultimately, slowly but surely, we will getting more and more of this outside of just inside the Chia Network employees. But at the same time, we tend to hire most of the best community developers to become Chia Network employees. So that ends up being a bit of a gray kind of distinction in the first place.
这个问题是关于这个DAO的。这个问题一开始问的是说，就Chia有没有考虑用DAO的方案来治理这个Chia的，长期来看的治理，对Chia本身进行治理。那 Bram 的回答就是说，他主要讲了，其实就是Chia，在技术方面对这个DAO这种组织的一个支持，就是说，现在这样的一个 规范也正在制定的过程中。这个时间也是会比较快的，但肯定不会是用年来计的啊，或者是说他讲的这个例子说之前大概用了9周就完成了一个之前的一个 feature 或者是一个规范的开发，但是就说现在正在制定这个道的这个规范，然后会用一系列的这种 CAS 的这种token 的方式来实现这个道，他讲了一些具体实现的一些细节，这可以回头再讲。然后Gene就讲了，就说是真正用道这种方式来治理Chia的话，现在看来是不是没有这样的计划。就Chia的治理的话，会采用跟那个 Linux 或者这样类似的一些这种方案来治理，会把这个如果大家对 Linux 比较熟悉的话，就是 kernel 的话，它会有专门的一些基金会，然后把一些最好的一些开发者都雇佣到这个基金会里面来持续的开发，这个大概率会是Chia的今后的治理的一个方向。
Cool. So, we got some question from our audience and some of our fans, and so some of the miners so reports that it's possible sometimes you get this error where you have this the block height have issues, like when you have different nodes that have different synchronization level, with that cause any problem for the rewards, the mining rewards?
If you are farming and you fall behind, that can cost you. But we are working on improving the speed and stability of our full node software. It shouldn't be too bad right now, but we want it absolutely bulletproof and are working to improve it.
Also, there is a bug that's known in 1.2.11 that can cause you to lose sync, and it is fixed in 1.3 betas, and 1.3 will be out shortly.
Cool. So Leo can answer that one. So translate, sorry.
这个问题应该是社区我们之前准备的问题都已经回答完了，然后现在提问的都是参与的，现在现场参与这个问答的朋友提出来的。其中第一个问题就是说是Chia的这个节点的高度的这个问题，然后回答就是说是如果你是在进行这个发明的话，如果你的那个节点没有同步到最新的高度，那就会对你的爆块会有影响。然后Gene刚才也回答就说是下一版的就是 1.3 版本的这个Chia它会对那个节点同步的这个性能这些都会做改进。
Cool. And so like some of the miners in China actually has really huge farm with a lot of drives. So wondering like because they have seen problem with the support for multi-core situation. So they're wondering like if there any performance tuning for multi-core and people with huge farm with like probably close to 100 petabytes of plots file.
There is quite a bit of improvement in 1.3, both in how harvesters work with large number of plot files and in how we multi-process of each block coming in. So you should see a heck of a lot better performance. I run it currently on a Pi 4 with an SSD, and during all of the dusting recently, it didn't care.
I see. So basically, I see. Cool.
I think it might also be worth Bram maybe mentioning like what actually is and isn't multi-core support, like single-threaded. I think there's a huge misconception that so much of our stuff is single-threaded when really isn't.
Yeah, well, block validation is split among multiple threads. However, we could definitely improve things a lot more beyond where it is right now, and we will be doing that in the future.
But it is already very multi-processor, so all signatures are in separate threads. All VDF verifications are in separate threads. Proofs of space are obviously looked up in a wholly separate thread because you can do them remotely even. So, it is not a single core application as much as most people try to say it is.
刚才的问题主要是关于这个多线程的一个问题，我没有完全听清楚最早的问题是什么，但是就是说，Brian 和 Gene 的解答就是说，现在已经是在这个节点的这个就对块的这个验证方面已经是使用了这个多线程的方式进行验证，所以但后面还是可以有持续的这个性能上的提高。我看你可问一下那沙尘暴攻击的这个问题。
沙尘暴攻击是那个 dust， 为啥是 sunstorm？ 这个是怎么讲
？Dust
storm。Sunstorm。Okay.
Dust storm.
Dusting attack 吧，对吧？Hi. So thanks for we have one more question and so is there any like prevention or mechanism to for the dusting attack right now?
There are a number of countermeasures that can be done. It would be nice if whoever's doing those attacks would knock it off. They've succeeded in demonstrating that they're a jerk. Congratulations, whoever you are, you've demonstrated that you're a jerk. But there's a few things that can be done that we're looking into, including possibly increasing the minimum fee that peers will allow for the transactions to be routed from, to a point which is not particularly material, like the 100th of a penny or something, but which makes dusting attacks probably more expensive than this person would care to keep doing them. Also making it so that our client software is more robust against like being sent a whole lot of dust, that it's better able to handle that, both in terms of being able to sync quickly with it and consolidate or just ignore it. So we're looking into all these things. We'll do some stuff.
Everyone should know, though, that minimum fees are already there. So if you exceed the minimum fee rate, you'll get immediate inclusion in the mempool and immediate inclusion in the next block.
Yeah, the dust storm is not making it so that you can't actually get your transactions in. Like the transaction rate is high enough that it would be extremely expensive for someone to make it actually have meaningful fees in order to get it. So like literally it's still less than 100th of a cent per transaction for it to get in.
刚才的问题是关于沙尘暴攻击以及防范的措施。不然讲了有2点啊。第一点大家应该知道的，就说是提高这个交易所需要的最低的费用，这样的话，那么沙尘暴攻击它就会变得非常的昂贵，这样的话对那个攻击者来说就得不偿失。第二就说是还是继续提高这个就Chia的客户端的这个性能，然后让那个节点能够更好的同步来抵抗这个沙尘暴攻击。这都是在考虑的这过程中，但是现在并没有一个具体的一个方案。
So we have one more participant in our list want to directly ask a question. So we will open this mic and open for the question. 梁博士可以上，可以问。
Hello. I want to ask a question about the Chia developer toolchain. Currently, we are using the Chia Lisp, but the Chia Lisp high-level language is still a little seems like a little lower. It's good for us to have some like a Haskell or some script to develop the program. So is there any plan we have this type of language?
Yeah, well, we're working on improving our toolchain in a number of ways. That we do have one developer, Art, who's working on our compiler and adding things, and he like added in let functionality to it. I'm not sure the status of that being out yet. So definitely working on making it so that our whole Chia Lisp itself and the whole rest of the toolchain are much more developer friendly and easier to use in general. our emphasis so far obviously has been getting the cat standard and the singleton standard done. And those are nice because they're actual like chunks of code that you just kind of use. So that makes life a lot easier right there.
Also, we may not do it, but, other people will absolutely add additional new languages that compile down to CLVM. And there's nothing stopping people from making things in Python or TypeScript that kind of take care of categories of functionality like NFT or like issuing cats.
Yeah, although it's still in the coin set model, so things still have to.
You still have to end up at CLVM sooner or later.
I see. Cool. Thanks, Dr. Long. So Leo, you feel free to translate the answer.
好的，刚才的朋友问的问题就说是现在Chia的这个开发用的这个工具，还有就是这个Chia Lisp 这个语言本身比较低级，就说有没有 plan，就是说在上面做更高级的一些语言，比如说像 Haskell 啊，或者是一些别的这种scripting language 的一些 support。按照Bram 和 Gene 的说法，就说是这个目前来说的话，就说是社区都是可以社区的也是可以自己做的，就是说如果大家感兴趣可以自己做，就是在这个 VM 的基础上面开发新的这个 language 的话都是可以的。他更具体再讲一些别的，我有点忘记了。那个魔汉你还记得吗？之前讲的什么？
之前大概也类似，就是最终都会做那个 CLVM 上开发，所以就理论上是可以的，就之后应该会可以的。那具体怎么实施我就不太了解了。
我来翻译一下好了。他们后面提到几个东西，就是首先就是开发者这一块，他们也是现在比较关注的。不过对于相比其他这一部分来说，他们现在开发对应的 standards 可能是他们现在最关注的点，就是这个标准，因为他们需要制定，包括后面 NFT 还有CAT 标准已经制定好了嘛 ，NFT 的标准以及后面做 swap， 它可能还有包括做这个 escrow coin， 就是被监管的这种 coin。被监管的硬币这种方式，也是他们现在可能重点关注的点。因此，就是可能这个像基于 CLVM 去做其他程序语言的开发，可能暂时他们并不是他们最重要的关注点。
对，好，我看还有人提问呢。
Yeah, so we have one representative from Nchain and can take one more question.
Okay. Thanks everyone. I think Chia's technology and the plan for such as Chia Lisp, CAT, and other things about NFT or others, I think the technology is very good, but I think we should focus on the society's building, because I noticed that in the past year about I think about 500,000 people miners in China, they are mining Chia, but now the number is decreasing very fastly. So I have talked with many good projects in Chia, such as Hash Green, such as MaxiDAO, and Chia in China, and other groups. We talk every week, but I think the Chia project should focus on focus on the voice from the society, from every miners, such as the question about why the price is decreasing, why many NFT and games projects on Avalanche, on Polygon, and many other projects such as Chia. But we still believe in Chia and our society and MaxiDAO and other projects will try our best to let everyone know Chia, know our technology. So so we think maybe Chia should provide more effort and support for this society, and maybe we should have a group of projects that everyone in who are developing good ideas and try to do something good for Chia. They can talk about everyone.
Yeah, I get your point. So basically what this means is so we start noticing the shrinking of community members in China, because at the beginning it was really popular in China, and now the community members shrinking because of the marketing condition and everything, and we understand that. Thank you. So actually that would be the sort of the last question. In a way, like, so basically this MaxiDAO is probably the first time we actually bridging the Chinese community and like the court, the center, Brian and Jean, and so wondering like is there any plan for have a community manager in China or regional community manager in China, or developing how to develop community, someone to lead the effort for this?
Well, we already do have a community manager in China who's on the call here. And, we have the Chinese community in Keybase, and we're going to be doing more of this, as well as making sure that most everything we put out in the near future will be translated to Chinese almost immediately. So, you'll be seeing both the doc sites and Chia Lisp translated shortly. We were trying to get all the automated tools there first. But yeah, we completely understand the vibrancy of the Chinese community and want to do more things like this to make sure that, you're heard and that we're helping get the message out about what we are doing to continue to drive adoption of Chia around the world. And I think, you're going to continue to see even more kind of landmark real world applications, as well as lots of neat new stuff for DeFi and community being released by us over the next months.
Sounds good. Thank you. Just to let the broader audience know, and directly from the man himself. And thanks. I think we're about in time, and I just want to say we're so honored and so happy to have you here. And we would love to become the bridge between the MaxiDAO itself, become the bridge between the Silicon Valley and broader Chinese community. And this communication has been fantastic for us, and sorry for a little bit clunky at the beginning. And I believe the next time we'll probably organize better, and it would be much more influential, especially. And we would love to bring more transparency to the Chinese community and in both worlds. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So we will also have the video, this AMA video recorded, and we'll publish that to different channels, including YouTube.
Yeah, and we have some very popular Bilibili video platform in China, and we're actually publishing that there as well.
Great.
Awesome. Well, after you do that, we'll share it as well for you guys. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a good day.
Good day.
See you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
某汉你讲一下，就是现在在社区里面还有空投的这个活动嘛？那个要不河马来讲一下？
河马讲一下吧。
好，那这样呢，这个首先感谢所有今天来参加咱们这个 AMA 的这个社员朋友啊，大家也提了很多问题，但是因为时间的关系呢，确实不能够都一一的让他们解答，因为他们那边呢也是晚上了，所以这个请大家多体谅。回头呢，没有得到回答的这些问题呢，我们会用文字的方式再跟官方联系，我们再征求他们的这个答案，好吧？为了对大家表示感谢呢，我们这个是有空投活动的。这个空投活动呢，为了这个公平啊，因为咱不能就是后边来了也直接撸啊，这个有点太残暴了啊。所以这个我们一个是我们有截屏，那么在整个过程中都参与了整个这个 AMA 的。那么另外呢，就是请大家给我们发邮件，我们 MaxiDAO呢有一个这个邮箱， 有。